with some breaking news tonight. Welcome everyone to the KHON2 News at 10. I'm Lauren Day.
And I'm Bridget Amata. We have multiple crews out on the North Shore following this deadly plane crash, including Howard Dashevsky, Sam Spangler, and Kamaka Pili.
We also have Erica Engel there as well, multiple photographers, but you are looking at viewer video from the scene. This was moments after that plane crashed into Dillingham Airfield. Now, the crash happened around 6:30 this evening is when we got reports of a down aircraft. Initially, we heard that there were 6 passengers on board and that there were no survivors, but unfortunately, the news gets worse from there. We do know now that all 9 people on board did not survive.
We are told this was a skydive aircraft. And Lauren, if you think about this, this was the first day of summer. These guys were simply out for a joyride, wanting to see the beautiful views of the North Shore, wanting to take that thrill to be here in Hawaii. We are not sure whether or not these are locals or tourists, but they were definitely on a skydive aircraft, just out to have fun on this beautiful Aloha Friday.
Just awful to hear. And let's get more information from Howard Dashevsky, who is live on scene. Howard, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Lauren, Bridget, good evening from Okala'ia, where we can tell you, as we mentioned earlier, you've already set the scene and given the nuts and bolts of the situation, but the scene has been turned over to the FAA. There are 2 FAA investigators already on island. Others will be coming in from the mainland to investigate this crash, which is certainly one of the worst in terms of fatalities that we've seen here in Hawaii in recent years. Chief Manuel Nevis had an opportunity to talk to us a while ago and talk to a little bit about what happened. We'll get to that interview in just a moment, but right now we want to get to Department of Transportation spokesperson Tim Sakahara, and Jade Boutte is the director of the DOT. And Tim, I know you have some new information to share. Firstly, we know now the name of the company.
That's true. It is the Oahu Parachute Center that was involved. That was the company that was operating the flight involved in this terribly tragic incident. What we can tell you is that about 6:30 this evening, it was taking off. Shortly after is when it went down, and it still came down within the Dillingham Airfield perimeter on the airport property. I can tell you, too, the plane itself is a Beechcraft 65 King Air twin engine with a tail number N256TA. There were, unfortunately, 9 people on board, no survivors in the incident. The FAA and NTSB will be conducting full investigations on that. The medical examiner is already on scene as well. You know, we'd really like to first thank the HPD, HFD, Sheriff's Division, Securitas, and all the various federal agencies that came here, responded, you know, as quickly as possible to this terribly tragic incident like we were talking about.
I want to bring in the State Transportation Director, Jade Boutte. And Jade, of course, this is the second major incident that we've all come together for. Earlier this week, the incident at Honolulu International Airport, at the Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, and now what's happening here. These are 2 very trying and stressful situations in a week's time.
It is. You know, it's been what a week. You know, that's all I can say. But you know, we are saddened of the plane crash that happened today. You know, we're mourning this terrible tragedy. You know, during this difficult time, we want to express our deepest condolences and sympathies to the families and friends of the flight crew and the passengers. You know, our thoughts and prayers are with them. And like Tim said, we appreciate the urgent response of the HPD, the Honolulu Fire Department, the sheriffs, and the Securitas, and the FAA.
Now, we are hearing that there were 5 skydivers, 3 students, and 1 pilot. This is coming from those who are skydivers in this area. Can you tell us anything about those numbers or ages, male, female, anything like that?
Well, the preliminary indications is that there were 6 employees and then 3 customers that were on board this flight. But again, that's preliminary. As the federal investigators work out this incident, you know, and a few other things. The airfield itself is going to remain closed until further notice. Certainly the crews and inspectors, investigators will be working throughout the night as we go through trying to get all those details and information.
Tim, can you say anything about any family members who are waiting at the Skydive Center for their loved ones who are in the air?
Well, out of respect for the families, I can't at this point. We want to give them space. Certainly, it's a great tragedy. You know, the identities have still not been released as well. So just out of respect for the families, I'm not able to say anything on that aspect.
One final question. The fact that you say there were that many employees, that's not a normal ratio. So this kind of maybe leads us to believe that these are employees maybe enjoying the first day of summer, going up and some of them working, some of them jumping for pleasure.
That'll come out in the investigation, certainly. It could have been their standard ratio from employees to customers, especially if they're doing tandem jumps, per se. So those details will come out in the investigation.
Right. Tim, thank you very much. Jade, thank you very much. Tim Sakahara and Jay Boutte from the State Transportation Department. So going back and kind of recapping from the beginning, shortly after 6 o'clock this evening, we know that this aircraft, now we know a little bit more about it, the plane, the company, it crashed here at the airport, at the end of the airport. According to witness accounts, seemingly this plane never really had a chance to get off the ground, but it didn't apparently crash on takeoff because witness accounts have it circling back to the airport. The days, of course, to come will give us a better idea of exactly what happened. As I mentioned, we did have an opportunity to speak to the fire chief, Manny Nevis, about an hour and a half ago, who gave us a little bit more information, initial information about this deadly crash.
The fire department got the call about 6:30 this evening, and we responded 14 fire trucks. Got here really quickly. Our fire truck from the Wailoa station got here within minutes. There was a fire close to the fence line. We extinguished the fire. So luckily it was because it was accessible, we could get to the fire right away. We're collecting information. It was a skydive aircraft, and right now the initial report is 9 souls that were on board, and it doesn't appear that anybody survived.
The fact that these passengers were all still on board lends us to believe that this is something, a tragic accident that happened on takeoff or shortly after the plane was trying to gain altitude. Do you have any information about that? The fact that it didn't even leave the confines of the airfield itself?
That appears to be the case, but we have witnesses that have said that the plane was inbound, so we're not sure right now, still gathering information. So right now we're turning over the scene from HFD to the state crash firefighters and awaiting the response of the FAA and give us the advice as to how we're going to handle this from this point forward.
What else have you heard from witnesses? Have you been able to talk to anyone?
There was some family members that were left behind, so we're trying to deal with that at the tower. So they left some family members behind, and then they took off on the flight. So there are some survivors that didn't go on the plane.
Can we ask you if one of those survivors may have been a child? We heard some reports that one might have been as young as a 4-year-old child.
We heard that as well, but we're still confirming that. Is that the only survivor?
Do you have the makeup of the passengers, male, female?
We have the names. We have the names of all the passengers, but we're not at liberty to release that information right now. I didn't really try to discern which were men names and women names, but there were 9 names from the tower.
Based on the manifest, do you have any idea? I'm sure they know a combination of local residents, tourists, people visiting the islands and looking to enjoy something beautiful here in Hawaii.
Again, we don't have that information as to the makeup of the passengers, whether they're local folks or folks that are visiting.
What company does the plane belong to?
We're still confirming that. We have a name, but we want to verify before we release that name.
Anything else that you could add? I mean, obviously, it's a horrible incident. When you look back in Hawaii, there have been few incidents in recent memory that involve this many fatalities. And even for you folks that have to respond, this is obviously horribly difficult.
It is very difficult. In my 40 years as a firefighter here in Hawaii, this is the most tragic aircraft incident that we had. We had some helicopters with the military, but this is a civilian plane that went down and with that many people on board.
So did you see the aircraft yourself? Could
Yes.
you describe how it looked and the debris field as well?
Well, the debris field is not very wide, but the plane is, there's nothing left to the plane, and it's right on the fence line. So the news had some earlier clips of that. We brought them in earlier.
You know how big the debris field is?
It looks like about maybe 50 feet by 50 feet, not very large.
All right. Yeah, any idea when you're going to be able to provide more information, confirm what company this was and who in fact was on this aircraft?
Yeah, I think, like I said, we're going to turn that over to the FAA. So right now the scene will be turned over to them, and they'll release the information as they see fit. Thank you, everybody.
So again, that is Honolulu Fire Captain Manny Neves talking about this crash, which is certainly one of the worst in the history of the state, though there have been others that are very spectacular. What comes to mind was back in 1988, Aloha Flight 243, where the top of the aircraft came off. The plane made a safe landing, but there was one fatality. Clarabelle, CB Lansing, the flight attendant who unfortunately was sucked out of that aircraft. The following year, 1989, you may recall if you've been here a long time like I have, United Flight 811 left Honolulu destined for Australia, for Sydney. The plane lost the front door. 9 people got pulled out of that aircraft. It came back and made a safe landing. And then perhaps the deadliest crash in the history of the state was back in also 1989. It was an Island Air flight that crashed on the island of Molokai. And among those killed in that March 2009 crash, 8 members of the Molokai High School volleyball team. But this one, as you heard Manny Neves say, this certainly ranks up here as one of the worst. It is now in the hands of the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA. Already members on scene. More will be coming into town. And again, it'll only get, unfortunately, sadder in the days to come as you start to put names and faces to this tragedy and you start to understand who was lost and who was left behind. Reporting live in Mokuleia, I'm Howard Dashevsky. For now, Bridget, Lauren, we send it back to you guys in studio.
Howard, thank you. And just a quick recap, the new information that we're learning tonight, the company that was operating the flight was the Oahu Parachute Center. It took off, and shortly after that flight had problems. Now, the airfield has been closed until further notice.
9 passengers were on board. There were no survivors. We'll continue to follow this developing story. We'll be right back.